Chronological Bible. Genesis chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. Holy Spirit, please guide me. Chronological Bible. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. They dwelt there, and then they said to one another, Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had bricks for stones, they had asphalt for mortar. They said, Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is to the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, Indeed, the people are one, and they have one language. This is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down, and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth, and from the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the whole earth. Descendants. This is the genealogy of Shem, and Shem was 100 years old and begot to Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. After he begot Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years, begot sons and daughters. Arphaxad lived 35 years and begot Shelah. After he begot Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Shelah lived 30 years and begot Eber. After he begot Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and begot Peleg. After he begot Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and begot sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. After he begot Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and begot sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and begot Serug. After he begot Serug, Reu lived 207 years and begot sons and daughters. Serug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. After he begot Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. After he begot Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begot sons and daughters. Now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Quick study. Remember before the flood, God started making our age come down to like 120. I think that's what we're supposed to get to, I guess, if we live the greatest healthy life. But if you could see during this genealogy, their age thing was going down, from 600 years to 400 years to 200 years. And that's why, like, Abraham lived to 180 years old. The long years were still passed down, slowly. Terah's descendants, Genesis 11. Here I am, 27. This is the genealogy of Terah, and Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot, and Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur, in the Chaldeans. And then Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Maachah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Maachah, and the father of Ishkar. And Sarai was barren, she had no children. And Terah took sons, Abram his grandson, and Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law, Sarai, his son Abram, wife, and they went out with them from Ur to Chaldeans, and to go to the land of Canaan. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. And so the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Biblical literature. So the second part of the book of Genesis tells the stories of Israel's participants, the events from the lives of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It takes place primarily in Canaan. Although Abraham's originated in Mesopotamia, Ur, in Haran, the traditions concerning these ancestors are grouped into cycles of stories around Abraham and around Jacob and Isaac. Appears in Abraham and Jacob's cycles with much in his story in Genesis 26. Abraham enters into a covenant with God and is given the promise that he and his descendants will become a blessing to all humanity. In the stories of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah, and Rachel and Joseph, the fulfillment of God's promise takes concrete form. The life of Joseph is set primarily in Egypt, and in a foreign place we see God's unfailing providence and his determination to keep his promise to Abraham. Transition time. The account of the participants in Genesis 12 fits within the settings of Mesopotamia at this time. Abram was surely from Amorite family, and that family migration from Ur to Haran and Syria to southern Palestine follows the general patterns of the Amorite expansion. The participants' way of life corresponds to that of Semitic shepherds, although occasionally they acted like the more warlike people, as when Abram leads his people into battle in Genesis 14. The God who speaks to Abram is seen at least partially as God of the clan, refers to often at God the Father in Exodus chapter 3 verse 13. Although Abram's relationship with God follows many of the Amorites' patterns, it also differs from Amorites' religions in significant ways. For instance, Abram's God's reputed child sacrifice and hates it. Moreover, God is not just a local clan deity, although he makes a covenant with particular families. That covenant exists in order to bless all the families of the earth. That's right, he wasn't just for those people, he wants us all to go to heaven. So he didn't like that child sacrificing. You know, if he was just a clan for the Israel people, why would he care? But he wants everybody to go to heaven. God's promise to Abram, Genesis chapter 12 verse 1. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you, and make your name great. And you shall be a blessing, and I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And you and all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. And then Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people in whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan. And so they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shisham, and as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh, and the Canaanites were then in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." And there he built an altar to the Lord, and who had appeared to him. And he moved from there unto the mountains east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel, and at the west of Ai. In the east there he built an altar to the Lord, and called on the name of the Lord. So Abraham journeyed, and going on still towards the south. Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went to Egypt, and he dwelt there. The famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass, when he was close to entering Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. And therefore it will happen, when the Egyptians see you, that they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." So it was, when Abram came into Egypt, the Egyptians saw the woman, and she was very beautiful. The prince of Pharaoh also saw her, and commanded her to the Pharaoh. And the woman was taken to the Pharaoh's house, and he treated Abraham well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, and female donkeys and camels. But the Lord plagued the Pharaoh in his house with a great plague because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now therefore, here is your wife, take her and go your way." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had.